Welcome back to the Web Station for Physician training videos for Paragon. In this video, we'll review several more tabs in the Web Station for Physician view. As you can see, I've already opened up Citrix and I've gone to Test, and I can change from Test to Live using the main on the Citrix screen. And I click Web Station for Physician, and I'm going to enter my user code and password. As you can see, we do not have a patient selected, so therefore many of the tabs across the top are grayed out and we have nothing in our tab list. I have one patient pinned to my list and I don't have any active new labs or vital signs or assessments because I am in the test environment. I'm going to go ahead and select a patient. We reviewed the census tab on our first video, and so this video we are going to review the action list, the order sign-off list, and we're going to look at the problems and procedure tab. So the first thing we're going to look at is the problem and procedure tab. This is very important because when the problems and procedures are filled out correctly, they will flow to your documents that you create in Paragon into the patient's problem and procedures. So we'll click on the problem and procedure, and you can see if they already have a problem or procedure, it is listed. So this patient had a difficult intubation. It's an active problem. It started on 5/8/2016, and that was put in there as a reminder for future visits that this patient did have issues with being intubated and should have the anesthesiologist present at intubation. Problems that have been put in previously will display as long as they are continued to have a status of being active. If you do not want it to display, you edit it and take and make the status inactive. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit the problems and procedures, and this patient showed up today with pneumonia. Hopefully we won't have to intubate. So we're going to go ahead and click on add, and we're going to type in pneumonia. And we're going to hit go. And it really is important for the ICD-10 coding for us to select a very specific diagnosis when possible. So we need to find what we have. We're going to say this patient has pneumonia due to aerobic bacteria, and we're going to hit continue. The laterality, we're going to put right. The severity, we'll put moderate. This is a diagnosis. Oops, not a finding, but a diagnosis. Status is active, and the date. This patient complained starting being ill earlier this week, so we'll put the 14th. We don't really need to put in the provider or any more information here. We can just at this point choose whether we want to add it to the full, add it to the current, or add it to both. So the current is a problem that is active and will be resolved, and the full is an ongoing medical condition like diabetes that will be with the patient for probably the rest of their lifetime. And you can add it to both. So in this case, we're going to just add it to the current, because hopefully by the time we send them home, this pneumonia will be resolved and we'll have updated it to resolved. But let's say this patient also has developed diabetes since they were here last, so we'll add another. And we'll add diabetic, the enter key, or I can hit the go key. Please avoid free text entries. Free text entries will not follow into your documents as well. Diabetes mellitus, adult onset, type 2. And we're going to hit continue. And this time we're going to add it to both the full and the current, because this patient, that's not applicable, this is a diagnosis, and the start date is unknown. So in this field we're going to put a U. We don't know exactly what day their diabetes started, and we'll add to the full and current. So as you can see, you're building your problem list, and these problem lists will follow forward then into your notes. When you've got the problem list the way that you want, you can click on Save. Now your problem list will show up here. To have this box go away, that you don't want to see it any longer, you would click again on the banner. And the same thing is with any of the other boxes on the banner. If you want them to go away, you just click on the banner. The action list is the second tab that you'll see in WebStation for Physician, and the action list is designed to allow you to see what you need to sign off both in your physician documentation and in your orders. We have turned on the order sign off tab, so orders that are in your action list prior to the time the order sign off tab was activated will still, like this nursing order right here was prior to the activation, will still need to be signed off if you have any. Going forward, you should be able to sign these off on the order sign off tab. So the order sign off tab should not include any of your physician documentation, but it will include any verbal orders, protocol orders, telephone orders. So we had this patient Neurosepsis 1. We also had Bashful down here, who for some reason we gave a verbal order for some Zofran. We know we did the Urosepsis to the ICU vent order set. These orders we would check and they all look fine. And we can actually check mark here and then hit sign off, and we've signed all those orders off with one sign off. Anytime you're signing an order off or ordering a medication, you should be prompted with your Imprivata badge, and you'll need to tap your badge to continue. So if I go back to my action list, I shouldn't see a lot of the ones that I previously saw. They're gone. So in my action tab, I have a sign off here for clinical document OMM consult. So this is a document that I opened on a patient that needed to be signed off on the patient, and I can click on sign off, and it's going to be sign the patient documentation, and it should transfer me to that document on that visit. And this was actually a document that we were working on that in tests that was not working correctly, obviously. So if you have a document that you don't want to sign off, but you need to remove from your action list, you can go up here to invalidate the document, and you can put in what the reason is. And in this case, I'm just going to say entered an error and say OK. So when I return to my action list, that document is gone. Documents. So you can open the document, complete the document, sign the document off. It should be removed from your action list. Med reconciliation. If you have a med reconciliation, the patient was admitted, transferred, discharged, and perhaps it happened during downtime, you can come in and say complete manually, because that med reconciliation was done manually while we were on paper. You can also choose remove, and that just says I'm not doing that and sends it back to medical records. And then you can also come in here and say start the reconciliation process. Whenever you open up a document in PhysDoc that requires a medication reconciliation, for example an admission or transfer orders or discharge orders, and you say no, that med reconciliation will come to your action list to be completed at a later time. So I'm just going to close this. We will go over med reconciliation on a different video. View tab. Frequency tab allows you to sign off anything that was transcribed, was scanned in, that is deficient on your medical records. So when you open the deficiency tab, you come over here, you say I've got one here that I need to work on, double click on that, enter your PIN. You have to have a PIN from medical records, and it's basically you double click the document, open it, review it, and then at the bottom there's a place to sign it. You can decline it. You can say this isn't mine, I'm going to decline this. I'm going to give the reason of wrong. Not my patient. Already completed. You say not my patient. Say OK. And that takes it off. And then the Med Rec tab allows me to see the medical records for this patient. This medical record view is cumulative since we started Paragon in January of 2014. You can search it by document type, or you can search it by visit, or you can search by visit ID. A lot of the physicians find it helpful to look at it by document type. So for example, if they were looking for advanced directive, they would use document type, and down here they would choose the advanced directive. This patient doesn't have very much in the documents in the MPF environment, but basically all the documents would be listed down through here, and it would say physician orders, emergency room documentation, nursing assessments, CPOE order sheets, and all the different documents that we're creating in Paragon then go over to MPF and are visible here as a PDF. You're able to bring them up, you're able to view them. If you have privileges, you're able to print them. We discourage printing. And when you're done with MedRec View, you can just go back to a different tab in WebStation for Physician. On the Order Sign-Off tab, you'll also see my orders and the patient orders. So your orders would be your list of orders to sign off as a physician that have been assigned to you as a verbal order or a protocol order or whatever on all patients that you need to sign orders off on. And then the patient orders are all the orders for the patient that need to be signed off that are ordered by anyone in your group. So, for example, if you're in the OBGYN group, one of your partners saw the patient, gave some verbal orders, and those orders need to be signed, you as part of that group can sign those orders as well.